So, who are you? What's your name?
Well, my name is Nicholas Flores Martin.
And where do you work?
I work at the Ministry for Resources and Rural Affairs in Malta.
And what is your role in GAP2?
I'm mainly employed as the scientific officer for the project.
So, your background is natural or social sciences?
My background is very, very strong in the natural sciences. I studied biology and chemistry. It's my first degree. Then I did a second degree in MSc in oceanography. So I've mainly got a very strong background in marine sciences.
So, why are you interested in working with stakeholders and through a participatory research methodology?
I think that first of all, my own what interests me personally is as a biologist, somebody with a biological background. I'd like to, as much as possible, conserve the environment in a state where it can remain in the same state as it was in the past for the future. And I'm aware that fishermen would like to continue doing what they are doing, that is fishing and making a living out of fishing for the future. So, as much as possible, I think what personally motivates me is to help the fishermen continue doing what they're doing and to be able to keep the natural environment in a state where it can continue to be used in the future. I think that being able to engage in participatory research will basically help me to arrive to where I'd like to arrive to, or help fishermen arrive to where they would like to arrive to.
So you think that it's very important that fishermen participate to research and to management?
Definitely.
And avoids a top-down approach.
Definitely.
So, how do you use participatory research? Do you do something particular?
Basically, we invited the fishermen to help us come up with a methodology for, in our case, our case study. And then we engaged them in the actual sampling. Sampling is basically going to be done by the fishers, for both the fishers and us. And we're going to be working with them every step of the way. That's basically how we engaged them in participatory research.
So, do you think that fishers are trust in researchers?
From personal experience, at least so far, there's always going to be some sort of misunderstandings and the two sides of impressions of one another. I think that the main impression fishers have is that scientists often make decisions based on either methodology that wasn't particularly suited for the questions they were trying to ask, and they sometimes, because of lack of funds maybe, make decisions that maybe weren't really in line with the picture that the fishers have of the environment. Very often the fishers are out there all the time. I would go as far as saying that they know what's going on sometimes more so than scientists. So I believe it's the impression I get from the scientists is that they might only have a partial idea of what's going on in the sea compared to what they know.
Yes, of course. But Have you ever suffered a lack of social science knowledge when you approach with fishermen and with the project GAP2?
In the meetings I've held with fishers so far, I felt quite maybe a lack of confidence, you can call it that, in actually approaching fishers. I didn't know whether I was actually breaking through with them and making a working relationship with them. So yes, I think I do not really have much of an ability, much of a background in social sciences.
But which are the main problems you have faced? Give me one or two examples.
Well, in a more general sense, I had a lack of experience with actually using social techniques. So it's something I've been doing recently. For instance, when it came to discussing methodologies with them, for instance, I felt, at least in my case, that there was, well, to be honest, I wasn't really getting through it as much as I had hoped, maybe due to my inexperience.
And for example, you notice that you and fishermen have different time scales, because probably researchers are used to think in the long term, yes, or in the medium term, yes, while fishermen think of today.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the case.
And do you feel that something is changing through GAP2, or it is always the same from the beginning to now on the project?
I would say that it's beginning to change, because the fishermen have noticed that we have taken up their suggestions for methodology. With regard to whether they're taking up more long-term approach, I'm not yet sure whether that is happening or not. I think we've got to keep working on the project and see where it goes before I'd be able to give you a definite answer on that.
So, have you enjoyed this workshop today?
Definitely, yes.
And can you say what is the most important thing you have learned today?
It's difficult to pinpoint one.
Yes, an idea, I don't know.
I think the main things I learned were during the video session when we were watching the interview, and also the exercise after the interview when I was interviewed by one of the people who was attending the workshop. I think that's where I learned mostly that conducting social science isn't just a matter of reading up and just going in the field and thinking you can pull it off. You need to be pretty prepared.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's it.